Looks like we're ready. Click here to start streaming.
Ooh.
You're live is what it says, so that means it's now time for me to read out this. You are listening to We Need to Speak About Rohan, the weekly Thus Spoke Kishibe Rohan podcast.
Podcast.
You are listening to We Need to Speak About Rohan, the weekly Thus Spoke Kishibe Rohan podcast from Dynamite in the Brain and Secret of the Sailor Madness. So do not move with the Rohan gang. It's Dwayne.
Hey.
It's Niall.
Oh, yeah.
And it's me, Brian. And on this week's episode of We Need to Speak About Rohan, as we always do, we are going to cover an episode of Thus Spoke Kishibe Rohan, and then all the anime from the week of the 15th of February to the 21st of February 2021, and also VLADLOVE episode 2.
I mean, yeah, Rohan and VLADLOVE are like going to be like they were. The dates on those are a bit more wishy-washy, but other than that, yeah.
Anime is a flat circle.
It is.
Yeah,
Or
sure.
in the case of VLADLOVE, just a big pile. It's just a big old pile.
A wad of cartoons.
Mm-mm.
So, we're going to start off for reasons which have probably eluded me. I don't know why I decided this. I definitely had a reason when I thought of it. And then when I went to try and figure the reason out this afternoon, I was like, maybe I should have picked the other episode. But we're going to start with Thus Spoke Kishibe Rohan, episode 9, The Run.
You said episode 4, and I was confused. And I know it is number 4 in the thing, but it is numbered as 9. Fucking some Star Wars out of order shit here, I guess.
I think you had them down rather than as the numerical order that they're put together, and this was the publishing.
Yes,
order.
Netflix
Yeah.
the order that
right.
the chapters of the comic came out, which aren't the sequential order. That's a different order. It's also not the order they were released in, and
So this is the Ultra Gonzo Super Order.
Not really the order we're doing either, because the last two we've got to talk about. We've talked about the first two already because they came out a couple of years ago. These two came out simultaneously in December 2019. And I would guess on the DVD this is the second one, having just investigated it this afternoon. Whereas I was like, I'll just pick them in the order they're numbered rather than the order they came out, just to further the confusion. Anyway.
But it is the episode The Run.
It is an episode
in
which our hero... in inverted commas, is explaining that it's his own fault that he's broken his hand in multiple places.
He's kind of looking over his shoulder as well, as if there's someone who's okay, it's safe. As if whoever did it to him is going to come back and finish the job.
It's very much like a confessional intro. It's quite good, yeah.
But the story is mainly about a young man who is spotted walking on the streets and becomes a model, becomes an actor, and then becomes obsessed with getting into peak physical condition.
I mean, like, how could you not see the modeling potential in this young man with bats trapped in his hair? I was just like, is anyone going to comment on that ever? It's like, nah, it's just his weird hair.
We'll get him in for the Halloween campaign, but if he's any worth any salt, he'll be able to prove himself beyond that. And he finds his calling in the gym. He's just like, ooh, he's in the mirror. It's just, even his girlfriend's pretty impressed initially. He's like, wow, he looks like Brad Pitt in Fight Club or some shit. Or possibly Snatch.
One of those, I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
She's initially impressed, but then it's kind of like he doesn't want to sit down to the spaghetti dinner she made. And it's like, whoa, I don't fucking do carbs. I only have protein. And he's spending a little too much on like protein powder and shit. It's like, I'll pay you back
money.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah. He's getting a bit like, he's not getting like super fucking jacked or anything. He's just like, I guess there's not like a pick of fat in him. I guess is the thing, right? Yeah.
And he gets into like a bench press contest with Rohan at the gym. This is
because it's mostly because it's Rohan being a dick. It's like, I'm gonna fucking.
This was definitely an episode where I was like, how much of this is drawn on Araki being a dick in a gym? And was he a dick in a gym and injured himself somehow? And that's the inspiration for this story.
Maybe,
I mean, like, fucking good use of your life in your material, for sure, yeah.
Yeah, because to do refer in their final gambit. Remember last time he did this? It's like, oh, I didn't know he did this already before. So
it has that shot of them like snapping up the remote control, which you don't know the context for until that scene. Yeah.
So it's also like the talent agent seemed like the most like a caricature of a real person I've seen in a JoJo's story.
Like it looks like a JoJo's character, sure, but she has that one gold tooth and everything, and I'm just like, that's someone though, isn't it?
It's a little glint when she does flash the teeth to stop.
I'm guessing if you're in the biz, you would recognize her immediately. Basically, it's like, oh,
yeah,
I've dealt with her before.
I know. Maybe Iraqi just watched Home Alone.
It could be. I wanted this part of this old talent scout lady to be played by Joe Pesci.
You could be a fucking model. Look at me, kid.
Yeah, so he's jealous about the personal trainer has got somebody who's paying him more, so he's helping him out rather than helping the model / actor out. Then
because he's there to generally help people, but when he's personal training, he's focusing on the person who's paid him.
How does the delivery man get him in trouble?
It's when his girlfriend's like, wow, you look great, but then he's like, he doesn't want to hang out. He's borrowed a bunch of her money, so she can't go out like karaoke.
Zone, man.
He's got to go to bed at 7:00 because he's running a 7K in the morning.
Yeah.
And it's just like the delivery guy rings the doorbell 3 times. He's like, motherfucker, why would you ring 3? I am glad when a delivery guy rings 3 times. Sometimes they don't fucking ring at all. They're just doing, oh, we missed you. I was like, you didn't miss me. I'm at home all the time.
Yeah, but you're not roid raged. You're not roiding out in this dude.
Yeah,
it's getting
really
out of hand.
Then he spends all her money putting climbing equipment all over flat.
Yeah, all over the
climbing wall,
including covering over the AC with like a little climbing handhold rock thing. I was like, dude, that's a bad placement. Why would you do that?
It's fine. They don't need it.
Just climbing over the ceiling like a spider.
Yes. And the best reveal is that he's also covered the outside of the building in it as well.
That's such a wonderful thing where she's like, hey, because several times he's treating this apartment as his when it's actually her apartment. She's like, get the fuck out of here. Spending all my money on climbing equipment and protein powder. Like, leave. And he's like, all right. And he's just spider climbs backwards down the building. And she's like, this place is a fucking rental, dude. What are you doing? You can't do this. It's super illegal.
Man, I hadn't realised just how much of the episode is then given over to the running contest.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's half the episode, yeah. Half the runtime, pretty much.
It pulls you in like that. You get drawn into this stupid contest, which in typical JoJo type fashion escalates into lethal lunacy very quickly.
And the very simple thing of you can just jump sideways off of the treadmill and you're fine.
The star jump and just like put a piece of you on either side of the fucking thing.
Yeah, you're good. Or just fall sideways. I mean, like, it's better than falling the way it could go.
You have to understand, Dwayne, this guy's turning into Hermes and has murdered 3 people. And so, therefore,
he's turning into a
Rohan really definitely has to kill him himself, or attempt to kill him himself.
It's a standard Rohan, like, it's a standard JoJo thing, which, like, it's a very wild escalation of a very silly situation, but to deadly terms, like you said, Noel. But it, like, one of the things with the Rohan ones is they feel half finished. Like, Araki's come up with a cool situation, but can't really write an ending. Rohan can do it because he just basically goes like, I'm out, I'm done. Like, he just leaves.
I don't need any of this shit. I'm going home.
I don't need to resolve this. I could just fucking leave, which he does. That's his main solution to the end of this, which is great.
Yeah. But it's a very simple competition. They're going to be on the treadmill side by side. They go up to a maximum speed of 25 miles per hour, and we're going to have a button here.
The same remote for treadmills. Yeah,
let's got that treadmill. So, like, we'll play a game of chicken. Once the treadmills hit 25 miles per hour, we're going to snatch that remote and try and start the machine. Whoever goes for 25 loses, though. It's like okay. So presumably, you'll stop suddenly. You're going to fly off and hurt yourself.
That seemed to be what happened the last time they tried that. But Rohan did a sneaky trick where he did like an underhand grab so it would fall into his hand from your man's being quicker at grabbing it.
Yeah. But Hashimoto, yeah, he ups the stakes himself. He says, what he's doing there, he's doing like mad shit, like he says, fun running. He's running backwards at 15 miles per hour. It's fucking always, how are you doing that? He's getting some like the dumbbells, the barbell, he's just going like fun bit of that. And it's, whoa, this is showing off now. Then he just allows one through the window and smashes it. And they're up on like the 7th or 8th story of this building. So now, if you stop suddenly and you're trembling and go flying up it, you're going to fall to your death.
So Rohan goes like, okay, I'm out. Tries to grab the remote. Your man grabs his finger, just breaks the ring and baby finger. So it's like, you can still press the button. So it's still a fair contest. You can't quit now on me, Rohan. We're going this to the end. And as he's doing this, he's developing wing muscles all over his body.
Yes.
Behind his ears, on his ankles, over his back.
And Rohan says, it's the most obvious thing. He's becoming a god of muscle. He's becoming an avatar of Hermes. I am in serious trouble right now.
Well, if he's going to invoke supernatural powers, I'm going to invoke my supernatural powers. Heavens no!
And he sees all the people that he's killed up to this fucking
point. Yeah, at that point, though, that's
people
before he starts spotting the muscles. It's after his stand has done that involuntarily. And he spots all that stuff. Then he starts properly seeing the muscles growing in really weird spots.
Yeah, you're right. I'm getting the order wrong.
Which is like, that's the question. I was like, oh, this is not. Then after like a day after watching it, I was like, or is he just convinced himself that because he doesn't want to accept the fact that he just flew this guy out the window?
Yeah, well, I mean, like he makes the guy fly out the window and then goes like, I'm just going to leave. Like, he had the very, like, good fucking head on him to go, like, I'm not going to look out the window because he's totally going to the wall and then he's going to pull me down. You know, horror movie shit. I'm not going to do that. I'm not stupid. I'm just going to fucking leave. There's the exit. I'm gone. But yeah, it's mostly because he probably just killed a guy.
Yeah. Well, if like, you know this dude can climb down the outside of a building, you know, with bits of plastic attached to it notwithstanding, but still, he's able to do that. Free hand.
Yeah. The horror movie odds of this guy taking you with him are very high, so Rohan's being very sensible here and leaving after he probably kills that guy.
Yes, which he does by writing in that he'll stop Rohan's treadmill.
Not his own kind of thing. Which causes him to fly out.
Yes, because he thinks he's stopping his own. And so he stops running and then just flies out the window.
Yeah.
Upward officer.
Yeah.
Done. Well, he's like a best-selling manga artist. I bet these charges go away in a couple of months. No problem.
Like his is the number one thing in Shonen Jump right now. It's keeping the fucking whole industry afloat. Dear.
It was nice to have it back. Nice to have it on like this. It felt a little bit Redline when they're really like, you know, getting into like the real climax of their fun side by side running. It's probably the faces just like go and squash back the exertion.
Which just doesn't make sense because they're running on the spot. There's no speed on this, but like they've managed to show speed of two people running side by side on treadmills. It's great.
And it felt a bit Junji Ito with the like man that gets obsessed with a thing to the point where it starts affecting him physically.
Yeah, the Rohan stories always lean into the horror vibe some more, so yeah, I could see that. Great fucking stuff as usual. Not resolved in a satisfying way, but that's what you get out of these episodes, and that's why I love them.
Well, that's sort of it, you know. Like a lot of like even the most famous horror stories, they're often told in this way, where it's like someone's like last will and their last testament, and then the last thing they wrote like, oh no, I hear a noise at the door. End of sentence. It's like, my gosh, what could happen? Make up your own ending, kids.
All of this could have been completely not resolved, but avoided if Rohan wasn't a piece of shit, as usual. Dear.
Yeah, well, maybe you should stop going to the gym so hard and getting into beefs with people. You know, it seems to be affecting his mental state a little bit.
Yeah, stick to scamming teenagers, Rohan. That's more your forte.
Yes. So you can watch that on Netflix. You can't watch part 4 yet on Netflix. So you won't have any idea who this guy is.
I mean, like you can watch part 4 on Crunchyroll with ads, so that's not the worst thing. And even then, it's like, do you want to start on part 4? Like, it's one of my favorite parts, but it's not where I'd start with JoJo.
Yeah. Or if you like, you can always read the comic where it's up to. I've got a fair few chapters of it up now, part 4, on the Shonen Jump app.
Yeah.
Then we've got VLADLOVE, episode 2, Night Flight on Love, in which we are.
I thought that first episode was busy, man. The second one, I was completely wrong.
The second one introduces like all the other characters.
Yeah.
So we get, I forgot his name, it's the head of the karate club, who is clearly incredibly sick because he's describing his thick, luxurious blood. And then they get...
I like the fact all the other guys going through all his various symptoms, and it's just like, dude, no, you suffer from super high cholesterol. Your level, like, they know his specific fucking levels and shit. It's great.
And then we get the other club captains. It's the cosplay club,
the dance club,
and
the film club.
Yes, yeah. And is she like not security? She's like student council kind of thing. I'm
that's
trying to
like morals committee type thing. Yeah.
That's it.
Type girl who clearly has the longest relationship with our heroine, and I guess they're probably going to turn out to be in love by the end of it, but in denial.
Everyone's horny, but in this, but mostly for giving blood.
Well, the Let's Go start a band together as they can play the opening credits.
Yeah.
Pure professional though.
But which opening credits song? Because the episode 1 on Crunchyroll has a different opening credits to the one which is on.
It does?
Yes, it's got different opening credits to this episode's one. This episode's one has got the same opening credits that the YouTube version of episode 1 had got, but the Crunchyroll version of episode 1, I believe, has a different opening credits.
All right.
Very strange. Yeah.
So and then we get to They make all their arguments about how they can't join the club because they're far too busy, and yet it turns out then we cut to, and everyone had given their blood after all anyway.
They came all this way. It's for a good cause, maybe. You know, it's nice to give blood. Always running short of it. It's our civic duty to do this. Right? Yeah,
when they're discussing with the Jinko, that's the girl who comes to tell them off. Chihiro, the doctor, is just lewdly pumping a giant syringe in the background.
Just in case you didn't know they were horny for blood. Yeah.
Feel a whole lot better.
And so which member of staff are they using to illustrate what will happen if they give the vampire men's blood? Her fears about what will happen to her. I was like, clearly not somebody who's working on this show.
Yeah, it looks like a specific guy, and it just kind of gets more and more, it's like, you grow hair, and you get sweaty palms, and like smelly feet, and you grow a third eye. And it was just like, wait a minute, hang on.
Then we get into like an argument about blood type personalities.
Yeah. Which is I like the way they do, and it's not like, even for the foreign audience, like, this is only a thing in Japan. Like, nobody else thinks this is a thing.
It's proven so many times, but like the same way that astrology is bullshit, there are still people who kind of cling to it and hold it sacred.
I mean, like, I think it's a load of bollocks, but I would think that I'm an A. Like, I don't know if that's actually a thing. But yeah, it's very much so. It's like, what is it? AB is like two-faced? Or they flip between
all the
things?
examples are like that. Very Mamoru Oshii choices for examples as well.
Yeah. Like, I picked my favorite aspect of this astrology thing, and I'm going to make it the thing of the character that has it. Yeah.
It's dumb. I think even nowadays, there's still, like, in some workplaces, it may be a factor depending on who's interviewing you and you're hiring, or it may be a factor like when you're dividing up teams for a project. We got to put all all type A in here because they'll work better together. Got to put type Bs in this team, this part of the product. It's like, why?
We got obviously put some ABs in this because there's A's and Bs and they're counter to each other or whatever the fuck. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, Tanaka, he's got no experience in graphic design, but he is a type A, so we probably put him in the graphic design team. Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And all the examples are a real person except for the type O, who's the movie director.
No, I mean like AB is Dr. Jekyll.
That's true, but yes, that's the name of the characters. Where it's like the name given to the movie director, where the illustration is clearly Miyazaki.
Well, hang on. Are you saying
legal reasons we can't say that?
Are you saying Mr. Hyde isn't a real person?
Nah, man. I think it's bullshit. It's all Dr. Jekyll.
His YouTube persona. All his bad remarks in his office. Oh, that was Mr. Hyde who said that, not me.
Then we get the return of the gag from the first episode, which they only do once, of her thinking too loud, and so the Doctor can hear what she thought.
No, I think they do it twice because the student council person goes like, "Oh, she's way too serious," and it's like she's monologuing. It's like I can motherfucking hear you. I like that joke, honestly.
And then they get into like, oh, don't. She's only going to give her the 3 girls' bloods.
Because I only want to give her cute girls' blood, not turn into a gross guy. And the Doctor's like, that's not how blood works, dude.
But don't mix them because it can cause various problems, and then it's illustrated by a graphic, which then has to explain this is not actually how it works.
Well, it explains like they could cause like coagulation, overcoagulation, stuff like that, and it's just like, but it melts it like it's acid, and it's like, no, that's not what that means. But
right. It's obviously when you're transfusing it, you need to be like push the right type into the right body. But it won't matter if you're just drinking it, right? This is going to like all mixed up in the stomach. It won't be no problem. Surely.
Eating it's different, right?
Yes. And then her naivety comes through when as Mai's personality bounces from hither to thither. She's like, oh, it must be all the personalities in the blood, not just mixing them gets vampires drunk. It's clearly the thing. And it turns into the pickled plum episode of Urusai Sura. Where someone has to deal with a alien being drunk, though not.
And the superpowers, the various superpowers that are demonstrated.
Yes, but she's not as mean a drunk as Lum is in the Urusai Sura episode. And then we get a karaoke song, Bloody SOS.
Oh no, she's drank the party animal blood.
Coming down hard though. Whoa, she needs some more.
And then she goes to heat up the last bag of blood in the freezer, and meanwhile she's found a bottle of ancient blood that her father had brought back in his trinkets, and we get a scene out of The Exorcist in a flashback.
That was fucking great, and it was like, oh, you've been keeping the good shit from me, huh?
I don't want to say
like
about
shooting
Pazuzu.
lasers out her eyes, all kinds of fucking crazy shit. Yeah.
I don't want to say about Pazuzu, at least he donated blood. Very conscious in that regard.
Someone's got to need demon blood at some stage. Yeah.
Then we go on a drunken Mary Poppins flight, which leads them to crash into the zoo. And
she initially like, oh shit, don't move. There's a fucking lion there, but friend to the animals.
Like she says,
is the
I'll
vampire?
use this torch that I have on me for some reason. It's like just. Don't actually give us.
Well, she is a creep. She's a creeper. She probably uses it for creeping.
No,
why not just say like the torch on your mobile phone?
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's a funnier thing to just leap from. Also, this is a show being written by 60-year-old men, so they may not think of that.
He's sort of faxing in his scripts, for God's sake.
But of course she's a vampire, so she just talks to the animals. The lion wants to go for a walk, and then she takes all the other animals for a walk.
I thought that was a fun version of the children of the night. What sweet music! Come on, Rhino, you're coming too.
And they have to call the police in, and I love that the police have brought a Pat Labour to deal with them.
The boy gotta bring a fucking the truck with an Ingram on it. Yeah.
They need to at this stage. All the zoo has gone loose. Yeah.
There was like there's more than a couple of times in Part where they've had to like hunt down a cryptid.
Yes.
Someone's like escaped a giant monster or Bigfoot or
Right.
something like that. It's a regular thing that they do. Why not?
Yeah.
And then like we finally got home and got to sleep, and then it's like, but the animals are still here, and then cut over to the other side of the room, and there's a bunch of very cute cartoony animals having a nap.
Right, there's no way a giraffe and a hippo and everything would fit in your kitchenette like that, but it doesn't matter because it's cute.
It's like waking up, you're hungover next day. Oh, what did we do last night? Oh, how did all this get here?
Yeah, I like this a lot. It was a lot of fun, very bouncy. I thought I was gonna mind the whole the actual footage of flying around the city, and I was like, no, I thought it was incorporated fine. The energy was there with it, you know.
Yeah, it fun jumps into life in that back half when they're Mary Poppins in around. They're making lots of city faces. Pretty good. Might have been relying a little bit too much on like that little like kind of picture in picture in the back half. I know you're kind of interested in the characters from the various clubs, and it's fun to see while someone's like riffing off, talking about them off camera, their reaction was going like, "What shit you talking about me?" They were doing that a little bit too much. I think it's just like.
Yeah, it was nearly like it was
feels
adapted
like,
from a comic or something.
It feels like it's just like this moving at it's just like standing still compared to what they're getting up to in the back half. So don't be leaning on that too much because that's where it felt very slow to me, and maybe that's made it at the pace they're trying to set. They're trying to really just let you stew in.
I worried that it was, but it didn't feel very slow to me. But that's because I've probably watched even slower Mamoru Oshii things.
Sure, okay. This was high energy.
Yeah. What's the one which is really like a play?
Gozen Susama Banzai.
Like in real time, is it? Yeah.
But I know people who love that are loving the front end bits of these VLADLOVE episodes where it is people monologuing and just doing stage dialogue.
I've had a bottom in a long time. I felt like that was a really slow burn of a cartoon.
But it was short, like, so it was compressed. Yeah.
Righty-ho. Talking of shorts which are compressed, Pui Pui Molcar, episode 7. It's a prank. It's sparkling clean. In which we meet a adventurer Molcar. I don't know if they have a name yet.
I'm going to call him Indy for the time being. After the Indy 500, obviously.
The other Molcars are frightened of its appearance and its tails.
Smells.
Yes.
It's just the muck is dripping off of it. They gotta get this dude down the Molcar wash.
And he kind of sees it, and it looks like a death trap. And it's like, no, I'm not going in there. That's crazy. Like, what? Well, how are we going to get this guy in here? It's like, oh, he'll follow a treasure map, so we'll fake a treasure, and he'll fucking go for it. Yeah.
I really love how the treasure map is kind of roll up and put behind his ear like a cigarette.
Cool
that out later.
Map. Yeah.
So a bit of gold spray paint and a hastily drawn little map later. It's like the gold card is within the daring temple of the car wash and must rescue it and must procure it. It belongs in a museum.
Goes on through, comes out beautiful. Apparently the
entirely different shade of material to what we saw.
I thought he was just like a dark color, kind of like Teddy, but he's actually like got gorgeous locks and this but he's like, that was fucking cool. I'm going for another spin. I'm going to another. It's like the kid on a slide, basically, and then comes out more and more beautiful as it goes. To the point where the guys have to wear sunglasses because he's too beautiful, too sparkling.
Yes, basically bleached all the color out of its fur. Yeah, it's good.
I wouldn't say it's packed with jokes, but like just the visuals are just making me smile so fucking hard.
Next week's is bonkers.
Oh, excellent.
I can't wait to talk about next week's. There was a good interview with the producer who was talking about like how he told the director, you're allowed to put a little poison in. You could put a little poison into this kid's show.
A little bit of
Be a little
edge.
fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all we do with that. That's like with that goat cartoon. That when you put your name out there, if you want to, and I think they're saying they got like hints of that with the zombie thing from
Yes.
from last week there. And so like, oh yeah, that's just like we're putting in this sort of menace, it's got a threat to it, but it's still played for laughs.
Yeah.
I mean,
They
the
might
zombie's going, oh, I'm so sorry, I bit you. Oh.
Yeah,
so sorry.
and they might be cute felt guinea pigs, but we have seen several car crashes technically, so that's kind of
Yes,
fucked
I
up.
did like the bit about like how it starts off from a point of being about road rage and how road rage would be a lot less common if instead of the back of a car you were looking at a guinea pig's butt.
Like, can't get
I
mad
think
at
that
that.
cams him certainly.
Yes.
It's seemingly.
And it was going to be a movie originally.
Yeah.
When he's like, "Hey, you should have done a movie," and it's like, "No, that would have taken years. I'm not fucking. Let's do shorts on a children's channel. That makes more sense."
But they kind of thought, oh, like a town called Panic, they made a movie out of
Yeah,
that. So
you
why
can do
couldn't
it
the
for
same?
sure.
But if you just put it out long form, think of the merchandise. Think of the merchandise.
Yes,
can't you?
I do follow them on Twitter and on Instagram, and yes, there seems to be the merchandise is coming, but of course, it'd be difficult to get into the UK in this current situation, and then even more difficult to get it into the UK come July because of
Get crafty.
the VAT situation.
Yeah.
I hit my first I can't back this Kickstarter situation this week.
Oh shit.
When I was like, it was like, oh yeah, we'll pay the shipping and duty for these countries. And I was like, oh yeah, the UK's not there as I expected. And it's because they don't know what the situation is going to be come July. I guess once they know that, then you can start accounting for it in new Kickstarters. But if you start a Kickstarter now, you can't.
Yeah. Dude, if you get stuck on that, just let me know. I don't mind dropping a few quid and you can pay me back.
That's fine.
But, like,
I'll be able to get it.
because I haven't hit
retail.
any roadblocks yet, except for trying to buy stuff from the UK, which is everyone's like, no, you're not allowed in here, and I'm like, oh man.
It's going to have all your packages rerouted to be picked up in international waters.
Shady pirate dealings, I love it.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing, I think it definitely will be like, oh, the big companies who can eat the cost, like Amazon, are going to get even more money off me.
Yep, they're gonna.
Almost seems like deregulation was the point of the exercise.
Yeah. It's almost like it seems like it's trying even harder to kill the regular post office, that kind of thing.
Oh.
Have it all be privatized and shit. Fight huge companies.
It wrecks so many things. Got to wreck Molcar for us as well.
Yes. I want to buy badges and little things where you can pull the string out of their mouth with a carrot and it'll chase up towards the carrot.
They still make those little churro queue cars, because I was like, that'd be fucking perfect.
They do. I don't not seen the Molcar ones of those yet, but yes, that would be.
Yeah. That's got to be a thing coming.
Yeah. Or as I knew them, penny racers.
Yeah. I'm calling the thing that they still sell them under the name of Today.
Yes. Then we got Dr. Stone, Stonewalls, episode 6, Prison Break. It's Chrome's time to shine, and it's time for us to get to know Yo, who is exactly as I remember him of being. He's gotta be based on the cop whose eyes joined in the middle letter.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Well, he thinks he's Dirty Harry, but he's more like the cop
Yes.
since I Pokemon. Yeah.
I did like the way they presented his backstory as, I guess, more in his favor. Like, no, these guys were fucking crooks, and I was just like, yeah, but you can't just like gun people down, dude.
I didn't gun them down. I batoned them down.
No, he pulled a gun on him when
did.
after your man pulled a gun on him. But yeah, still.
Yes, because in fact, but from the dialogue, it sounds like he killed him and he was kicked out of the police force.
Probably.
Oh, trash for the gutter.
Yeah. It definitely.
He didn't have the accent I kind of expected from him. I think I looked up the actor and he's from Yokohama or something. But the voice, it was a lot higher registered than I expected, and especially in a later bit. But that was for comedic effect.
Yeah,
so
he's got the range though to go from like the convincing talking of like a guy who thinks he could, as he says, he could be the fourth part of the peak of the empire. when he's saying that, it sounds because he's got to be able to convince all those generic big lugs who he's bossing around. But then it's the breaks and his like fantasizing. His internal monologue is maniacal. His stuff with Chrome is more comedic and
it's great the way, when talking to Chrome, he switches between "I'm threatening to you," also "You're an asshole, I'm going to laugh at you now," and it was just like, that's a good thing to be able to flip between with rapidity, and he does it quite well.
Yeah. Chrome's got to try and break out of prison. What's he going to do? Well, he says, "I need to go to the loo. I'll just shove stuff down my trousers." And
so many jokes of him shoving stuff into his crotch.
Yes.
This episode.
They won't look there. Well, they should look there, but they won't because
it's rude.
They want to get handsy.
Also, he's just a dumb primitive. What could he possibly do? He's going.
It's like, check it out. I know how to make fire. Oh, big science man over here. Watch out.
Yeah, this is after he's tried to make fire and has failed. And then he's like, I wish I had a battery. And then a battery mysteriously arrives in his cell.
It must have been those beautiful two of Senku's allies in here. Fucking love I'm kind of going to miss the image of them as fucking gorgeous.
There's like one house they're all one beautiful and sparkling, and just before that image fades, just like the camera pans down, Yuzuri has chest, okay, and fantasy over.
yeah.
Chrome, I suppose he's only a lad to be expected.
He tries to set fire to the bars, but they spot it with the battery, but they think he's used the sticks. And that's where they all start laughing at him. They're like, "Oh, that's your big science, is it, caveman?"
Ooh, you're gonna rub two sticks together. A real smart idea to start a fire at night that we can fucking see, dipshit.
Yes.
And he's like, actually, I can't say anything. Yes, I can. You know, if you can boil salt water, you can get salt. And they're like, wow, fucking big brain on this ape, huh?
Yeah, the biggest battle is Chrome's battle between his brain and his mouth, and his urge to gloat.
As the guys say at the start of the episode, okay, we're going to run in there, bust Chrome out, and then fucking leg it. Because we need to get in there before he runs his mouth too much, because we know he's running his mouth.
Yep, he's always said, I am Chrome, I can make colored flames. I know what science is. I haven't hung off a cliff for saying all of this.
Like you say, he's struggling to not fucking... Science isn't for showing off, it's for being cool, not saying you're cool. That kind of thing.
And then he remembers a experiment from a previous, taking salt water and using electricity to run through it to make sodium hydroxide is what he thinks he's making, I believe, and then he makes something else, it turns out at the end, but it still worked.
It's bleach he makes in the end, but it's a similar thing, but it doesn't have the
he didn't have a membrane. He needed another piece of equipment to do it.
Where's we get salt water from, though? None in this cave, but there is some in me.
Just workout.
Press ups.
And I love all the guys looking at him. Is like, what the fuck is he doing? He's like, just leave him be. He's some crazy primitive man. We don't want to mess with him.
So press ups, the star jumps, there's all the calisthenics, all the robots all night long.
So this is the second time he's used sweat to win, isn't it? Like the other was in the tournament. Like, let me sweat real hard.
Ringing out like his headband as well. It's really glad I can't smell cartoons.
Not really good. You can't smell cartoons for sure, but like I feel like a lot of that stuff with him being all sweaty and like wringing it out and all the tousled hair is like that's definitely someone was like, oh thank goodness they finally put this in the show. I wanted to see more of that. It's appealing to some people, I would think.
And he just dissolves the bonds on the bars. He's escaped, and takes one of the bamboo poles. Knocks over a few
guys in the head. He knows where all the traps are because he saw him digging the holes.
He shouts that there's a bear in the cave because that's it. He learned lying from Gen.
Yeah. I saw another nice things out as well is that he's taken a little bit of everybody we learned from. Including the one move he knows from stick fighting. He hasn't really picked up much else, but it was one move that's usually guaranteed to work on at least half the people he's going to meet.
Don't fear the man who's practiced 1,000 kicks. Fear the man who's practiced kicking you in the nuts 1,000 times.
But before that, he's distracted you by thinking he's given you pneumonia.
Yeah.
Because Yo's the only guy he can't escape, and he's back at the waterfall, and then he pretends that he's caught pneumonia by faking coughing up blood.
It's deadly catching in this stone world, and then he starts after coughing up, just spitting it in his face. It's like, oh my god! No.
It's like, good luck with that, you scienceless. And then he hits him in the balls.
That was pretty fun.
Yeah, and then he gets back to camp, and then how do you find the camp? He says, well, I didn't know where you were, but I just went in the same direction Suika did and made sure I walked in an area where you'd spot me with a telescope.
Just fucking logical reasoning. Kicking ass with that, yeah.
Bro, I made acid in the cave, just like you taught me to do. If I'd say, no, you didn't, you made bleach, but lucky for you, the ropes buying bars made out of cellulose, which bleach will dissolve, so good on you.
Yeah, similar, and they're talking about how that's the similar thing that they were making to make paper. So they're both kind of finding the same scientific discovery around the same time. But it's the idea of Chrome taking things he's learned from other people, but also he did the scientific process wrong, but ended up with a similar result. And that's still science. That's a great thing about his character, just learning and taking what he's learned and using it differently.
Yeah, it's like you intend to go down this one path. But that is to a whole other branch of discovery that maybe nobody's ever come across. And similarly as well, how do you get out in the first place? How do you escape in the first place? Oh yeah, oh my god, are you okay, Fontaine? No, psych. Because from the stuff I grabbed earlier, all the leaves and twigs and stuff, I was able to formulate this little substance when you chew it in your mouth. It just makes wet water. Good thinking. We were truly the amalgamation of all of our approaches.
And I think is it Kohaku kind of saying, it's this stuff smells kind of familiar, and then our one-eyed cop kind of goes, it's wait a minute, is this pickled plum he's spat in my face? What the fuck? Because it's the same. If it's not the same, it's a similar chemical that's used to pickle the plum.
I've eaten. What's the thing they always used to eat in Warner Brothers cartoons to make their mouths go? Alum. I have no idea what alum is that would make their mouths go tiny.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a nice one for Chrome.
Yeah.
He's like the wild card of the scientific heads in the group usually, because he's just he's often hearing about these things for the first time. As soon as they depetrify somebody and they're the expert in whatever, geology or some shit. It's oh, I've done a bit of geology, I've done a bit of this and a bit of that. I'm not the best at any of them, but I know lots about different ones. I can just put that knowledge together and come at it from a different angle that is unique to me. Which is why he's the one who's come up, hey, what if we did this? It's yeah, you're right, man. I never thought about that because this is all you're coming at this completely fresh. You have no prior frame reference to this at all. So you're just asking the questions that it sounds like a dumb question, but he's asking out loud. Well, yeah, it's a dumb question. What is the answer to it?
Yeah.
Maybe. You find out new things.
Talking of finding out new things, it's Heaven's Design Team, episode 7, Idea 7, where we open with Neptune washing his hair. And he felt like somebody was watching him, but there was nobody there. And God's yeah, that's pretty scary.
I feel you, bro. The boss sort of walking in. It's yeah, that sounds cool. Do that. Make me one of those.
So yes, that's what they're gonna do. And of course, they're always all the way through it's kind of God, isn't it? We're just making gods.
We've made invisible animals before. What about the squids you made? Pluto one. Yeah, they're pretty good. They can kind of camouflage in like this. It's yeah, we'll try that.
I like the fact that your man has to put himself in the towel and he's pretending he's scrub. Let me in this bathroom facsimile we've made.
You gotta simulate the conditions so you can replicate it every time. It's
yeah.
That was pretty good. It's pretty I couldn't quite see it, but obviously these big eyes just in the corner right there, so I sort of knew something was watching me and something was there. Didn't quite the same feeling. Okay, we'll try this again with something else.
Yeah.
Well, about
They
chameleons, no,
chameleons,
chameleons
but-
don't camouflage themselves. They only change their color according to their mood, apparently, and based on light sources. But what you've then learned in the middle bit, wait, it'll change color based on how shady or light it is. It is a kind of camouflage as well.
If they turn dark
suppose
in the
it
dark
is.
and light in the light, isn't that camouflage? It's like, I guess. So I was right.
I do like that we got one of these in this episode there, where those, because quite often those bits are like to put you right based on something they said in the actual cartoon based on the comic, but there is the one at the end where they're like, no idea. Absolutely no idea why they've got that particular physical feature.
Like, that's one of the things of evolution is kind of fucking weird sometimes. It's like, is that useful? No, it's actually very not useful.
Yeah.
Just has it.
Why the hell do you have the crocodile ice fish, which is just a transparent fish? You can see all its guts and its insides for some reason.
Yes.
Well, I don't know.
They were trying to make an invisible fish.
Yes, because they're like, well, we can't make it transparent because we'll still see the blood. But what if we get rid of the red blood cells and have the oxygen carried by platelets instead? And it can breathe through its skin, and we can do all these other little bits and pieces. And then God's like, approved before we even see what it looks like.
It's like, it was just a rough sketch. It's like, okay, it's a single-celled organism that can also see. Okay, I guess.
And then they get into why you can't turn invisible, which is another fun thing. Because like,
I love those bits where it's just like, this is why science says you can't have superpowers. Not trying to spoil a party, but just letting you know this is how it would actually work.
That's why I love the thing of, like, in My Hero, where you have Mirio, is like, if he goes into a thing, he is completely blind and deaf to the world.
Yes.
It's terrifying. And I was just like, oh, that's really cool. Like, I like the thought put into it.
The drawbacks to these things.
Exactly.
Like, it'd be great if you're a giant mantis man, but then you can't fit through doors and you can't handle fucking cutlery anymore. So
how do you wipe your ass when you go to the toilet? Like, it's a problem.
Yeah, because they're pointing out, like, the fish is great, but we can still see its eye. And then they say, well, you make the eye invisible. And they're like, well, if you make the eye invisible, it can't absorb light.
It doesn't take in light, so it's not an eye anymore.
But they can't see you, and you can't see them.
Well, Pluto
it would be the most
correct.
sublime loneliness.
And so...
Well, they make all those, but this isn't quite what I'm going for. It's just like,
getting approved. They're doing well.
What if we just make the eyes incredibly small?
Like, so you don't see the eyes until you start looking at the water, and then if you really look, and then they're just getting creeped out by the creepy squid, the creepy transparent fish. Like, when you look at a bowl of water, you can start seeing eyes in it. It's like, oh my god, I hate all of this.
God's like, approved. And they're like, you've attached an eyeball to a single cell organism, and they're like, well, we guess we've got to figure out how we're going to do this. Like, God's approved it before they figured out how it works.
Yeah. They hadn't even done the testing stage.
And then we get the stuff about the change in the colour.
It's
Aliens Week.
Yes.
A lot of aliens use as our base template for making creatures.
See, I love that, like, because to me, like, that means that Saturn's the old man, isn't it?
Saturn's the old man. Mercury's the Steve Jobs guy who admires him.
Yeah. So, like, Saturn, like, when you have a designer, sometimes they have, like, a base model they work from. Like, when I'm drawing people, I always start off with, like, a rough skeletal structure, like a cross on the face to indicate direction. So he starts all these base creatures as aliens, it fucking seems. It's just like, it's a great base to start from, and then you just start adding shit on.
If it's not going to be a variation on the Horus, I usually go with this standard design.
Yeah, it's just like a very basic stick man he starts with, kind of thing.
Yes, because they do comment like, oh, at least he didn't use a horse as a base this time, and yet he somehow still manages to work horses in by the end.
Yep.
Once again, we're trying to figure out what the fuck Kenta, his grandson, did in his little drawing. Like, what the hell is this? It's like, oh, I mean, I didn't mention my grandson. I want to create the thing that you saw. Because it was like this new friend, this new best friend. I think they keep calling it the first love that you saw.
Yeah, like, the thing is, he saw, like, another little kid walking by at a festival. Like, I have no idea how the fucking, like, so, and Pluto was there as well. So it's like, so they do go someplace when they're not at work in heaven. I'm not exactly sure how this works, but whatever. He saw another little kid or something at a festival, and it's like, I can't figure out, I could figure out who his best friend is, or the person his first love is, but it's like, I'm just going to design it instead because I'm his grandpa. And Mercury supports him all the way, even when he really should stop at any stage, but he does not.
It's a weird yoke. It's got these big eyes. No, so it applies. Okay, we get some big eyes. It's kind of winking at you though, so it must have eyelids. So we got to figure that out, and then we explain. Oh yeah, this is why you can't have eyes as big because it filled too much of the soul cavity. You know, it wouldn't work. Says person animated character sat right next to them, who was almost the exact same proportions as a model.
I was noticing that as well. Like Mar saying that, I was like, "You're fucking one to talk." But yeah.
We're angels. It doesn't count for us.
Yeah, because they don't give it eyelids to begin with. That's why they give it 2 tongues so it can keep its eyelids moist.
Like one's for licking its eyes, and the other's for doing something else or eating. Is it? Or,
It is, yes. But so when they realise it's got eyelids, then they make that other tongue do something else. They don't get rid of the tongue. They leave the tongue there and give it something else.
Well, it's in the his
yes, they think it's
drawing,
in the drawing, and it's licking. They think it's licking a snail. And
I love the fact that you're looking at that. It's like, that's clearly a kid with a lollipop, guys. What the fuck are you doing? You're going like, that's a little kid's drawing of another little kid. It's like, it turned out it was a snail on a stick, which is great.
There's a bit in there when clearly Mercury's trying to make it another snake. He's trying to remove the sternum.
The jaw's too weak. He's like, what if we could swallow things whole like the snake? We just remove the sternum. It's like, yeah, but it has arms and shoulders and shit, so that won't work. And he's like, fuck.
The illustration of it is it's swallowing a horse whole.
Dear. Our main angel guy just getting more and more. He was disturbed part 1. He's disturbed part 2 even more. This weird alien creed they've made.
Yes, but it turns out
it's threatening. We'll give us some nice like kind of furrow in the coloration that we got this yoke. Okay. Then Pluto walks in. Hey, what you got right there? What the fuck? You got the same thing. What? Yeah, the drawing, man. See the kind of big pink splotch in the corner. It's obviously me. And this is what I was walking out. Obviously, like young Kenta, I was taking out my prototype out to the fair yesterday, and he must have seen it, and he just became so enamored with it. They made a drawing of it. So it's just, we've come to the same design from 2 separate approaches altogether.
And to do it from a design point of view is funny, but also to do like parallel evolution like that, we're just like, yeah, these animals look remarkably similar, completely unrelated though, like developed very differently, but to form a similar function.
Anyway, they've made the Tarsier.
And then he's been told to make a animal with good hearing.
I couldn't figure out the prior animals, like what the fuck they were designing, any of them, but I figured out this one as soon as they stuck wings, and I was like,
yes.
Yeah.
So go to that weird alien template from before. Didn't want to go to waste. I make something else out of it.
So he's just like, he's stuck big ears in it. It looks like a goblin initially, and when it's like, okay, we're just gonna, hey, angel buddy, you come in here, you hide, and you'll be the prey, and it's gonna come and get you, and it's just like tap 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 tap, like this horrible goblin just running at you in the dark. And he's like, yeah, I can hear it coming because of its horrible feet, and he's like, cool, we'll make it fly. And I was like, I figured it out now. Is that before or after they attached like shitloads of ears to it?
They put shitloads of ears on first.
Okay.
And because then. Yeah, because then it can fly, you can hear it flapping, so they changed the types of feathers it's got. So you can't hear it, but then you can see its like silhouette, and when it moves,
and you can see its ears flapping around.
So they squish all the ears into the head, and then they come back and they lift the head up so it can turn its neck around.
But it makes it very obvious there's a thing up there looking around for me.
And then very quickly it's turned into an owl. And then he explains, they're like, where's the ears gone? And they're like, well, its face is a parabola, so that acts as the ear.
Yeah, and its left and right ear are concave to detect up and down and left and right sound.
Yeah, the skull is what's really interesting. It's like it's asymmetrical.
And if you're looking through the ear hole, you can see the eyeball. He was like, no, I don't want to do that. Also,
I have some like little thing that got snipped off in the corner when we was sitting in the briefing, and it was like, whoops, I should have tried to fix that, but it's done, no harm.
And it comes in
it's got a little clipping on it there. It's like, it's fine.
And it comes in the same colours as horses.
They come in all horse colours. Oh, cool. Thanks, Saturn.
Enos is very impressed. Oh, he must have a lovely little bird. Oh, give us two little cute little things in it, though. No, that ruins the whole silhouette. I mean, as we're going to go in the educational portion, it's like, those aren't for the use. They're just purely decorative. Like, what use did it? It's just cute.
Looks cool.
Yes, even before they get the argument, God approves it straight away.
Yeah.
Horn down.
Like, that looks great. I love it. Go for it.
Yeah, and then so you say the science discussion, it's like, we it would be better if they didn't have them. We don't know why they've got them. So I imagine there probably is a reason, but we don't know them because we're not horned owls.
Yeah, I mean, like, also there is, like, a bunch of evolutionary shit left over that is completely fucking useless.
It was probably useful at some point.
Yeah,
and it's not a hindrance, so it doesn't necessarily need to be bred away.
Mm-hmm. I find it really interesting that they were picking animals this week to make, which in all cultures were mistaken for supernatural beings or aliens, like the barn owl in particular. People always think, I saw this like weird oval face with these like kind of black eyes in window. You saw a barn owl. That's the barn owl out your window. I was supposed to be freaked out. And it's about saying, when you kind of break it down to the design phase, but we build it up from this alien looking template. It's like, it is kind of weird. So I can understand why you'd be freaked out by that. It might steal your soul.
Then, talking of things after people's souls, it's Jujutsu Kaisen, episode 19, Black Flash. I know what that is. They'll say that a lot for the remainder of the series.
It's a big deal.
Well, it just sounds cool to say.
Yeah.
Lads are boned, though. To run away from Hanami. They're doing their best. Camo does that cool. I always love when Camo, a technique where, like, this the high pressure, like, blood laser.
Yeah.
We'll see that again in the future.
What did Dio call that? Stingy...
Space Ripper Stingy Eyes.
Yeah. Basically that, but from your hands, obviously. And your man's he's noticing, it's like, whoa, he's actually fucking damaging him a little. So he was taking it easy on me, because the fact that you're even damaging that crazy wood monster. They figure it's like, okay, we got to get out of here. Our boy with the magic voice, the golden fruit, he will hold him off for a bit, but he's actually taking a lot of damage, and he's not even saying like big words. He's just saying like stop on attacks or like
It's just because it's proportional to the thing you're trying to curse to command with your speech. So this thing is pretty hench, obviously.
So it's actually like doing a lot of damage to his throat fairly quickly.
Here comes Maki with the save. Breaks Miwa's sword over it. So gotta pair it back for that one, I suppose. Just here, he's going to help him out with that. Fushiguro's got this kind of nice sort of Chinese saber. It's pretty cool. But Maki brings the real shit. She's got the fucking 3-section staff. All of my business. And we learned that for curse tools, they're graded similarly, and the amount of curse they can output is a portion of whatever they are. So this one playful cloud, pretty fucking good. So.
And they're doing lots of class stuff like switching weapons and stuff. And he's like, don't make me hold that 3-section staff. It feels all weird. So I'm guessing she doesn't get that same effect because Habba has absolutely no sensation of curses, which is handy to be able to use a very weird feeling weapon, but a very powerful one instead.
Yeah, they get overpowered again though. Hanami is again too strong. And then it's time for Itadori and Todo to come in with the save. But they know something's up to see what's going on. They've gone down to see what all the commotion is. And Itadori is there. He's there. He's got his boy Todo, his new best friend. He's going to sort this out. Fushigo, you take Maki and get out of here. And it's like taking it back again and saying, no, fucking Itadori, you're going to be killed like before. And saying, no, dude, this won't be like before. Like, please, let me do this to me. And Fushigo is like, he means it this time. There's something different about him. I can tell. He's going to sort this out. Also, Todo was there. He'll probably be okay.
And Panda picks him up and does a panda dash.
Pandash.
That was pretty funny. But yeah, Todo's there, so like he'll be fine. Todo's like, I'm not gonna fucking lift one goddamn finger to help you unless you hit him with a black flash. And if you don't, I don't care if you fucking die. I'm just gonna stand here by the sidelines and do nothing. Because you're my brother, my friend, my best friend. The amount of times he says it really made me laugh. Yeah.
Itadori's giving Hanami the business, does this sweet triple midair kick.
Oh god, I rewound that like a few
balance.
times. That was so fucking nice.
It was a nice mix-up there, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna give it to him now. While I held it back on that chop, and I won't be expecting this. Black Flash. She's like, oh, it's gotta be the last 20th of a second. You got like put it off him, but he doesn't quite get it. She's like, oh, I didn't. It's so close. Itadori, what? That's come off.
Yeah.
Stop fooling around. Stop half-assing this.
Yeah, and he's like, you're using your rage, which is great. That's a great asset because fights have been won because the one sorcerer pissed off another, but they've also been lost in the same way. You lose control of your power that way. So fucking get it under wraps. You can't handle that rage right now. And Itadori's just like, cool. I'm not mad that my friend's life is in mortal danger from being stabbed by a rose bush by the look of it. Yeah.
Thank you, my best friend. I was just always waiting for it. And I remember this panel from the comic as well.
Yeah.
It's like, his concentration is amazing because Itadori is just there and the drool is hanging out the side of his mouth. He was just focused on nothing but punching this dude in the last
It looks very unimpressive, but it's just like, holy shit, this guy's got, like, this guy who's drooling like an idiot is really impressive for doing so. Yeah.
And then pulls it off and just wangs it. It gets it right in good. And then Hanami has got, I'm going to get serious too, and starts shooting out roots everywhere. And it feels very Naruto then as they're fucking doing ninja runs up and down these things, and Hanami's like growing trees out of the ground.
It's very impressive fucking shit though. Just the constant flow of motion with them moving with a constantly changing landscape. Yeah.
Yeah, just like great teamwork. Again, these guys have been friends forever for the last hour or so. Got some good combinations going on.
Mm-hmm.
But it just make the trees vanish because they're not just being manipulated.
They're not physical trees
that
being
are there.
manipulated.
It's growing the trees as by itself out of nothing but cursed energy. Nami is just like, oh man, these dudes are really putting me to the edge. Thinking back to talking about Mahito about this, like, hey man, I know Hanami, your whole thing is you're the eco warrior, you're the guardian of the earth, but you're also a cursed spirit. And my time as a cursed spirit, I kind of found them all as like, the same way that humans just eat, sleep, and fuck. A curse just, we murder, we deceive, and we revel in despair. So, man, I know you got your whole vibe going on, but don't be afraid to give in to your instincts every once in a while. Just listen to that little voice inside yourself that tells you to kill all humans. And it's like, Hanami says, yeah, I'm starting to enjoy this fight. Maybe I should fucking go for it. Maybe I can give this guy the business. And, that kind of facade is dropping a little bit. Toto was saying, whoa, it's getting pretty spicy right here, right now. Trying to show him my curse technique. Which you and I know what it is. I've been excited to see how they would actually execute that on a moving image.
I think it's going to look much better moving than it does in a panel. Or potentially. Yeah. A
little bit like how King Crimson, you got the sense of how that worked. I know how Toto's technique works. It's very straightforward. But I just want to see, there's a lot of fun things you can do with that in motion as well. I want to see what they do with it.
It's a great visual technique, yeah.
Man, it's this great kind of roller coaster of this really sweet action sequences going on. Very, very nice. And it's like this forever friends. We've only known each other for an hour, but we are just like firm brothers, like going back years and years and years. We've invented backstory to represent how strong our bond is. Oh, two doofuses. Oh, what was the Omake bit, the stroll? I've forgotten that entirely.
Oh shit! Yeah, no, the episode was so good. I've forgotten the Jujutsu stroll as well.
It's all right. I'm sure it was probably very lighthearted, but it's no 3-section staff. I've seen that get way around a bit. Keep it coming, folks. It's good stuff. Yeah, I just saying that it just feel like very Naruto when they're jumping around the trees and things. So when Hami's growing, I was like, I think you kind of pushed that a little bit more. I mean, it was the anime of 2020, after all. Both by people who watched, that and 2 other things last year, which is fine. But, can't be. I want to see that kind of frivolous popularity vote kind of thing when Pui Pui Molcar doesn't win that poll, then we're gonna have some problems.
Yeah. Well, it won't, because if you saw the when Crunchyroll finally had a news item on it, everyone was like, what's this? Never heard of it.
Jujutsu Kaisen is voted best anime airing on Crunchyroll, which I still think it's still probably not quite accurate.
Yeah, well,
it's a good cartoon.
I mean, most of the rewards went to Aizuken, so I suspect that's just. I suspect just a lot of people only voted on the best anime on Crunchyroll and didn't bother doing the other ones.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's not get upset about it.
No.
We watched lots of cartoons,
Exactly.
which we will talk about some more of imminently.
If I'd voted, I think I did vote. I think I voted for Haybot and everything again. With a
10th year running.
Well, they shouldn't let me write in things. With a dog and a cat, every day is fun. In which we get a very brief recap of the Lobo story from Lobo, King of Karumpor. The first story in Ernest Thompson Setton's book Wild Animals I Have Known. I think I've learnt more about Ernest Thompson Setton from anime than I have
same, yeah.
any other way.
Did you love him?
He was American, wasn't he? Maybe if we were American, we would have known more about him.
I think that's
I don't even know. I don't even know then. If you would,
that's fair. Yeah,
he's got. There's one thing of his which I think was definitely in our school's library. I'm sure.
Well, it's just kind of weird when they kind of latch onto this one.
Yeah.
Text. Like, I mean, I've learned more about Melos, the guy who fucking ran the marathon, than I have from anime than I have from anything in Greek history or culture.
But yeah, so the reason it comes up is because the owner has to feed dog a tablet, and you got to hide it in his food, so he'll eat it. And then she flashes back to the part of Lobo, King of Karumpor, where Ernest Setton is trying to get the bounty
poison this wolf.
For this wolf by poisoning it, and all it did was just shit all over the poison he'd left out for it after he put so much work in to try and hide the poison.
She's like, yeah, you can't fucking fool an animal instinct. It's like, they're too damn fucking smart. The natural inclination is... And the dog's like, hey, what's that? Gimme, I want to eat it. It's like, here you go. Okay. And the dog's like, another. Give me another. It's like, okay, yeah, no, that's easy.
Dog is just a dog. And then we get the cats dealing with the tablets, which is exactly what one of our cats used to do. The other cat, you had to stop from eating the other cat's tablets.
No, it's not particular. Like, I don't think like all cats are angry assholes like her cat. It's just like, no, some cats are that mood in the same way some dogs could be like that. Yeah.
Like the cat doesn't even laugh this time.
Because
it's the mastermind.
Hides the tablet in the food, he eats all the food, leaves the tablet behind. So she has to get more food out. He eats all that, leaves the tablet behind, gets more food out, eats all that, gets the tablet behind. Again, and then she finally dawns on him, I think this is his plan all along.
You got to put the tablet like inside some food in that case. Like, it's the only way to trick the little bastards.
Or you have to
either that or put it in their mouth and hold it.
Yeah,
closed.
that's it. You have to wrap them in a towel.
I feel bad doing that.
Wrap them in a towel so that it scratch the living shit out of you.
Dear.
Oh, the same cat who earlier was just clinging to the owners. But I love whenever they go to the vet now, the cat is just over at the face hugger.
Yeah.
Thank you. Head into the medicine, please.
That's the regular routine of going to the vet with the cat. Yeah.
Then we've got Back Arrow, episode 7. Is the wall really that solid? And more importantly, introduces a load more characters whose names I now need to try and remember. But there is a wiki.
They're definitely going to be in it because they're in the outro now. And I was like, oh fuck, okay, all these guys are just here now. Okay.
Well, Commander Prax is the one you want to look out for here. Who's like one of the military leaders of the country of Luto, and is sworn loyalty to the princess.
And I'm like, okay, it's one of these characters where I'm like, is it supposed? Is she a woman, or is she a woman pretending to be a man in the worst possible way? It was nothing in the
because she had a very like Princess Knight thing when she pulled off the
she's got
helmet.
A char helmet, yeah. But I was like, she's clearly a woman. But then again, I've watched other shows where it's clearly a woman, and it turns out, surprise, I'm a woman. I'm like, as a viewer, I knew you were a woman from day one.
Like, I don't think that's going to be the case because the what's her name on the other army. Like, she's got a major position in the army.
Yeah. Now, my suspicion is she's actually the princess.
Ah.
Oh. Okay.
That was my suspicion of, like, the princess left and then she walked in wearing a mask. And I was like, are they going to pretend out to be the same people? The prince is like, oh, everything has to be, I don't want any bloodshed. And then they got this, her nickname is like, this character's nickname is, has blood in it. I can't remember exactly what.
Bloodstain, something or other. Well, that doesn't need to have any kind of name, because we see what it does on a regular basis. Because one of the what was it? It was Lord Walston from before. Were you like having like a pretty boy farm? Yeah. Did you get into like a battle with one of the dreadnought? It just kind of turned out that way. He just kind of admonished before the court. Then later he said,
no more doing evil. And he's like, okay, yeah, you got a princess. Or queen.
He's out in the garden, and then this like runs into Commander Prax, or this masked person, cuts his fucking hair off.
No, that's because he was giving out about the princess in the garden. He was like, stupid princess, I'm going to totally do evil some more. Her tears mean nothing. I was like, how dare you insult the princess's tears? Cuts his arm off for that. It's slight to her character.
Yeah, that was the other thing where I was like, it may not, because it may just be a false, because it's like she's got the helmet on, then immediately takes it off. But obviously there's something up with her. There's probably something up with her and our mysterious scientist friend, who seems to be looking at her at the end of the episode.
I figured he was from that kingdom because, like, if he was from the other kingdom, our mastermind from that kingdom would have known about it, right?
I wonder if he's one of the 6 principals or whatever they were called, and he's
their top guys.
So she's going to go to the Dreadnought and speak on behalf of the princess and try and get them to visit Luto. Meanwhile, half the village has said, we want to go back, let us off, this is too dangerous, you're attacking God.
We're all like, dude, you can't just like attack the wall. That's really fucked up. That's what we worship and shit.
But that's not going to stop Back Arrow or Atlee, and they punch and whip the shit out of the wall to no avail. And I forgot the first bit though is Shun, Shubi, and Bit giving the names out for Dry Heights. The stuff with Shubi making Bit feel like he's important throughout the episode might be the best part of the episode.
It's like, isn't that right, Admiral? That's right. Let me know, Peon, if you come up with any other cool names, and I will hand them out, as it is my right to do as the Admiral.
Main gun is ready to fire. I've got it to work properly. Won't to shoot air this time. Commander and Admiral, on your order, we will fire at the wall. It's like, yeah, sure, fire all weapons. Like, we don't know, Admiral, please, you must be the one to do it yourself. It's like, what do I do? I literally just told you how to do it. It's a big red button on the console. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that bit when he's going for the
big wind up,
the Gygar smash, and then pauses and presses it with one finger.
It's just a button. You don't have to fucking hit it. It's grand.
And this just makes the wall angry, and it starts shooting cold air at them, knocking them out of the neutral zone into Rekka, where Ban. Sorry, no, no, it's not Ban, it's Bai, isn't it? Bai Toatsu is waiting for them in his giant mecha with his giant axe. He'd been told not to attack them because they were in the neutral zone.
For some reason, this is the only... I've forgotten the Briart's names, but this is the first time I realized, and I don't know fucking why, that Back Arrow is the only one that doesn't have a weapon. He just punches and kicks. Like the other guys who don't have weapons generally have some sort of, like the little guy from the last episode, or the Fearsome Four, whatever the fuck they were called. Like they had elemental attacks and shit. But he just punches and kicks everything. He doesn't shoot anything out. He doesn't have a big axe.
Well, he can turn himself into 4 of himself, though.
And he's made of rubber.
Yes.
But I mean, like, besides that, he's not holding or shooting anything, is what I'm saying.
He's special.
And he's and he has a non-lethal finishing. Meanwhile, Kyo, who's the guy who's been replacing Shubi, has got Ren, has given her 3 days to clear her name.
And she realizes, like, oh, he left me some hints that there was other bombs.
Yes.
and or she thinks like he dropped, like accidentally let it be known that there were some bombs, so she finds the other bombs and she gets a commendation for that. But then she's like, he knew I'd know that that's the hints he was dropping, so this was part of his plan to get me out of trouble, so I wouldn't blame him, but I still blame him.
Yeah. Also, Kyo clearly hates the Prime Minister as well.
Yeah.
So I'm like, is he part of Shubi's plan? Because then we get like little
he's going to get him
flashback
on
of
side
them
for
being
sure.
rude to each other, and I was like, is that just because that's part of Shubi's plan to not give on that they're actually in league with each other?
But you know what, the Prime Minister is just going to sit on his ass and just take care of his vested interests and probably whatever money he's got coming in first, and not try and provoke an international incident by going to war or otherwise with a dreadnought or Luto or anything. Is this going to hang back and do squat while Kyobi can't get sitting there going, oh, we got to do something because the Emperor of wanting to take action against these fuckers. That's probably provoking a little tension. They're both trying to vie for jockey for supremacy in there.
And
so then Prax shows up, and they're like, well, I'm not breaking the treaty because I'm flying over Rekka, and we put a loophole in the peace treaty by hiding the fact that we had flying
if you set foot in our kingdom, it is a declaration of war. And it's like, well, I'm standing on the head of the fucking thing. Everyone's like, hey, get off. And also I'm flying, so it doesn't count.
Yeah.
I love the design of that Brian as well. I love the shoulder
half cape.
Yeah.
And she has the half cape on the other shoulder, like in her like regular form. And I was just like, oh, that's a nice design, just that it kind of switches and everything. Yeah.
Browsing Gundam model kits as one was, I came across one from Gundam. I think it was Build Divers or Build Fighters, but it was like a variation of the Wing Gundam from Gundam Wing, but it has like the half cape and a big kind of like a pay style beam sword. Is like, oh, I want to hunt down a model of that. Oh, it's pretty good.
Yeah. It's definitely got that kind of style going.
For real.
She convinces the Grand Edger, but does not convince Back Arrow to come to Luto, because Luto so Back Arrow just wants to stay here and punch the wall some more.
And she's disappointed. It's like, well, I was specifically sent here to get Back Arrow, but I mean, I was also sent here to get you guys, so I'll just bring you guys back, and then I'll come back for you, see if I can convince you to come. He's like, do what you want. I don't care. I'm going to beat up this wall. He's being a big kid about it, yeah.
Yeah, but that's her. She's like got to step up. Fucking like granddad, he's relinquished his chieftainship. This is her like having to make the big decision for the village. You know, it's like it's fine. We will go. He will stay here.
Yeah,
we were all invited, so it's all right.
But Prax does say that she'll come back and try and convince Back Arrow.
Yes.
Again, which I assume will then be a fight. And then we go back to Rekka, where Ren is reporting to Kai that Kyo is allowing her to serve under Kai, and also she's pretty sure that this was more parts of Shubi's plan, that he'd laid that extra bomb and told her where it was in order to
get her out of trouble.
So she would be, and she's pissed off at him for doing that as well. And then we learned that Kai could have broken out of his prison at any point, as he's
pretty much just working out.
Yes. Can anybody be thrown in jail actually be kept there for any great length? They were only there because they decided to stay there.
Yes.
Back Arrow broken off his bonds. Kai's broken off his bonds.
The only thing that's keeping him in jail is honor. It's only prison if you let it be.
The honor system. That's all we have. Yeah. It's kind of rocking along. Fun. Like Prax is like a good addition into the mix, and we're it's fitting in a bit more of what Luto was like as well, and how diametrically different they are to Rekka as well.
And one of the reasons they're willing to go there is because it's the Science Kingdom. Maybe they'll have done some science on the wall that'll help us get past it. Maybe they'll be willing to share their stuff.
That'll be found. This is probably made by somebody. So that doesn't mean it's any kind of supernatural being or a god. It will mess you up if you try and break it down, though. So somebody made it with the intention of keeping something out or in.
Yeah.
Well, I found out in like two episodes time. I just wanted to just kind of pull it down, but completely like non-ceremoniously. Oh yeah, here's what's going on. He's behind the wall. So don't lead on the mystery to like the second to last episode away and shit like that.
Yeah,
like just pull it down as fast
and
as you
then
can.
actually deal with it. I was nearly right in the last episode that was the only place they were going to stop, because they literally get to the wall in this episode, but it's like, can't break down the wall, we'll go here first. And I was like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah, Bai's got like a very Romance of Three Kingdoms character design to him as well. The other general. Can't remember.
He's a bright head as well, actually. The Minotaur motif is pretty cool.
Yeah, and just like, what's his thing? Like, slice everything is something very basic.
It is.
Chop down anything in his way or something.
Something like that. Yeah. Something in his way is his thing.
Yeah. And even when your one grabs him and is flying around with him, he's like, "Hey, you're fucking laying hands on me. That's a declaration of war." It's like, no, we're just dancing. Just constantly like skirting around stuff, which I really enjoyed her as a character for that. I hope she continues to skirt the law by clearly doing illegal things.
Yeah. I guess now Bako is back in the neutral zone. She can merrily come and give him a fight. We've got I think of the 6 Supremes, there's 4 of them. I think we've had 3 of them in the show. I don't think we've seen the scientist yet, but you just have or was he in the flashback? Because she makes a barbed comment about when the other two members of the Supremes. She's like, well, maybe you'd like me to punish the people who told him to do the experiment. So they're like, ooh.
Yeah. If we take this up the food chain, you guys are up for the chop. Yeah.
Just Diana Ross in a giant robot. The possibilities.
Because like one of them's like it's weird that like the one who supposedly wreckers the democracy, but it seems
what? No, it's not the fucking emperor.
I know, exactly. It's weird. And yet the other ones
there's one man, one vote, and the emperor has the one vote.
Yes.
And it all fucking takes care of itself, I assume. Yeah.
It's described in the first episode of like, and then nothing seems.
It's just like the People's Democratic Republic of fucking tyranny.
One's a republic, one's a kingdom. Yeah, and
the kingdom seems to rely on the ministers a lot.
It does,
for a kingdom.
And the republic answers to the emperor.
Okay.
Kind of that shit that came up where like the monarchy in the UK was meant to be mostly ceremonial and the sign off on bills. Actually been putting pork on bills and manipulating them for the last 30 or 40 years.
Oh yeah, I mean like the monarchy still gets a bunch of taxation. Like it owns everything, so it gets a piece of every fucking pie, basically. Dear.
Then we've got Skate to the Infinity, episode 7, not 6 as I've written the notes. 7, part 7. We don't balance out.
See, I was full sure in the opening that our boy, God, I've forgotten his name now. Snow. They keep calling him Snow. Langa. I was full sure he was going to get captured by your man. They were going to have to save him, but like the separation is to do with our masked matador skater, but not him like literally kidnapping him or anything.
It's much more cutting and hurtful than that.
I was like really impressed by how they did it. You're right, yeah.
Yeah, it's equally as viable and kind of natural and organic as a separation is going to happen, because it's a poverty feeling that a lot of folks have experienced firsthand to their chagrin. And it's like following on, like, there was last episode was like, oh, fun beach episode, they're going to be messing around with that, but there was still Reki, they're feeling, man, I'm just not standing out. These guys just outpacing me. I haven't got a fucking gimmick or a thing or anything. I'm getting left behind in the dust here. Even this sound a little like, oh, hey man, let's go to school. Let's the scenic route and go to the cool trick route. And Langan just like take some big air and like slap the little tag
underneath
like
the freeway
10 feet up underneath the overpass. Is like, Ricky can't do that quite so much.
And he's there like supporting his friend. He's like, wow, I fucking can't do that. And he's just like, and the little kids are like going like, wow, that was really cool, mister. And he's like, yes, I taught him everything he knows. If it wasn't for me, he wouldn't even do skating. So he's proud of his friend's progress and that kind of thing. And he's proud of his involvement in it. But it becoming more and more is like, you can't even keep up with this guy no more.
Yeah, there's something really just percolating inside him. It's an ugly feeling. It's just like kind of frustration, and it's boiling over into resentment. Because I like how they put it together. Like we see the morning routine. Usually we're like, "Hey, mom, get my lunch." She's like, "Oh, I gotta go to school, escape a bit." And then the following day is just completely down pace. He's completely out of it. No kind of a little kind of camaraderie or banter or nothing. He's just completely down. He's even kind of watching the old videos when he was like training Langa and like showing him Langa could barely like do a kickflip, only a few weeks ago, and now he's just fucking doing 20-foot jumps straight up into the air on a skateboard.
It's the way everyone's talking about it. His I'm going to call the other main skaters his friends, for lack of a better term, because they're taking the piss out of him. Whereas like, yeah, they just call you, who's that guy with snow, and they're taking the piss out of him because they're mates. But then he's actually like hearing people talk. It's like, who's that redheaded kid who's always with him? It's like, some fucking hanger on or something.
Not Langa.
yeah. And that's kind of getting to him.
Yeah. But as we learn through the other people's stories, that yes, probably it should let him get to him, because if you don't let it get to you, you turn into Adam's assistant, who has just been his dog's body his entire life
since they were in school.
Like presumably this is one of those like, I hired this person to be your friend / servant.
Yeah. And now he's going to have to take the fall for political corruption should he get anywhere near
And there
him.
wouldn't have even been political corruption. It's like, hey, we need to nip this in the bud. This politician's fucking getting done for shit. If you want to read the report, it's like, no, I need to go to the fucking skate park where everyone else and announce my big contest. And he's just there watching the fucking, it's like, ooh, look at all these like RSVPs. I'm going to have to fucking set up like some prelims or something. And the guy's like, yeah, we're in a lot of trouble. It's like, yeah, you take the fall for it. What? Taking the fall for it. And then I don't get in trouble. I had nothing to do with it. And he's like, okay, I guess I'll take the fall for it.
Yeah. All of a sudden, there's like this massive. We didn't know he was a politician until this point either, did we? And there's corruption involving a dam.
No, I don't think so.
I didn't know if he was a politician. I thought he was just some kind of like political consultant or advisor or some kind of lobbyist from some huge financial group.
I mean, that's not too different from being.
But I suppose,
to be fair,
they're pretty hand in hand, they're pretty glove in hand as well, aren't they? So what's the difference?
That's Inspector Kanegata's motivation. Is she wants to. It's not only corruption; it's representation of an old way of thinking in Japan. So, we also get flashbacks to his childhood with Cherry and Joe.
He's like, I'm done with this kids game anymore. I can't be doing it.
Man. Used to be about the skating.
But you later see like his dad has found out that he's into skating, and he's done Danny the dog from JoJo's Part 1 and thrown it into the skateboard into the furnace. He's just like, yeah, I put childish things behind you, son. So you can kind of see it's like, oh, that's why he probably like tried to break it off with his friends, because he was like, yeah, I can't skate no more because I got to do serious business life now. But yeah.
Like he was kind of infer like a little bit from this, as you were saying, when the opening credits, like, oh, Langa might kind of fall in temptation. Just like based on how Langa and Adam were facing down, and when they were skating against each other, how like Langa's came back with the creepy smile rather than be afraid of him. And it's just like, oh, is he going to like fall on that route? But it's doing something a little more different, more interesting, all the same.
And they have that conversation, Langa and our boy, having that like basically their difference of how they see like a mountain to fucking climb. Like one sees it as a challenge that excites him, and the other one sees it as, I can't fucking do that, and it makes him downhearted and kind of defeatist and, like you say, bitter.
There's always a bigger mountain. There's always a bigger something else.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you can't climb their mountain. You gotta find your own mountain to climb.
Yeah.
Or
you can't compare yourself
like in the abyss. You just gotta climb out of the fucking valley and get up on the top of the mountain.
He doesn't see that yet. He can't see, like, you have to set your own kind of challenge, and you can't be comparing yourself with other people. But like that's literally how contests work. You compare yourself 1-to-1 off someone else. Yeah,
it's difficult though. It's especially when people are talking shit about you pretty much in front of you. And much, I'm not trying to rate myself off of any of these guys necessarily. I'm trying not to, but other folks are, and they keep putting that back into me when I'm trying to not factor it in myself.
His like I thought that was really like defeatist. He's like, oh man, Langer can do that jump every fucking time, but if I can do it 1 in 3 times, 1 in 5 times, best of 10. Like if I can do that fucking once, at least I can do it. And it just him like just repeatedly like not the fun kind of bails, the really like it's like, oh dude, no, stop. Bails on your fucking soul, like yeah, rough.
Yeah, one would assume the plot would be that he's going to join the tournament to try and, if he beats Langer before Langer gets to Adam, then he'll have stopped him from racing.
Doing the dangerous skating. You're going too fast, Langer. You gotta slow down. Can't skate at the speed around Dead Man's Curve.
We also get Shadow confessing to his boss that he's a skater. And you like strong men.
Well, that's why he accepts the thing, because it's like, hey, there's a tournament on. Who will be the strongest skater? And he's like, you said you like strong guys, right? Well, I got a thing that can prove it. And he kind of accepts it on the phone, on the app. On the fucking, how did Adam get that app made up with the little chibi Adam? That was cool.
He's a powerful man. That should be.
Who does his design? It's great.
Well, probably his mate. He's dragged around.
That one guy. Yeah, he's a graphic designer as well. Yeah. Wasted on him. But yeah, the little app where you have to accept it. You have to click the little heart, basically.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
There was a nice little interview. There was somebody from Studio No Border. It's like Thomas Romain, the animator and designer. This kind of split the thing up and just doing like graphic design things for like board games and comics and so forth. But they've done all of the designs for the skateboards and the stickers and things.
The tags and the stickers. Yeah.
So it's like it isn't just like you had one artist doing different styles for each skater. You had like one artist, one style per skater for all of their gear and their skateboards and things. It's like that's really cool. It's just like these are all different philosophies around how they skate. So it's natural they should have a different feel in their accoutrements.
Cool.
Yeah, cool stuff. And then all the kind of background things like the app, like the kind of posters are cool. I suppose the graffiti you might see in some of the skate parks that they're practicing in as well. You know, all that kind of business.
I did enjoy, like, I was going back in some of those scenes just because it's a very well put together show where they're at S and they're just kind of fooling around there. Like, a lot of the background guys very much so they don't have the same level of design as the main cast, but they all have like you know, their shirts are tucked a certain way, they're wearing a certain style. They look like they're also going for a specific look. So it kind of feels like a more fully fleshed out world based off the amount of designers it seems it has. That's excellent.
There could be also be, I guess, something to do with the director, I suppose, as well, who I know is very detail oriented, but also it's just having kind of clear direction about, because a lot of this is probably being done remotely between a lot of different people from a lot of different parts of the world as well. It's like, you know, transmitting these things and conveying them in a clear manner. So like nothing gets looked over or kind of pushed to one side or left out of the mix. It's like, nope, everyone's getting attention put onto it. Because it needs to be, because we haven't got much time to do this and we can't wait. It's difficult to reorganize this shit over a long distance.
Then we've got Dragon Quest, The Adventure of Dai, episode 20. Now I slice everything.
Oh, and boy does he.
He really needs help with his golf swing. Sorry, that's why I just searched for Now I Slice Everything, and it brought me back loads of like golf help forums. People say,
"Now I slice everything."
Yeah.
Someone help!
So I was trying to get this, like, you know, this onto the green in the par 3. Instead, I cut through the very earth itself, and bisected a fire ice man.
Yeah, we get some stuff with Hadler and Mistvern before we head back to the fight, and we get
those sweet tats are some sign of him constantly getting resurrected by the Dark King.
Yes.
Also, watch out, Hadler. Missed from his foot by Takahiro Kayasu. He's probably going to fuck you over.
Yes.
Also, half his name is the name of your boss, so there could be something going on there. He's probably sent this dude to keep an eye on you and make sure you're doing.
This guy puppets things. What's the odds he's a fucking puppet? I say very high.
Yeah, so Flazard can't maintain his body temperature now his core's been destroyed, so he has to tear his body in half to stop himself from dying.
Well, I thought fucking what's this? Pop just iced half of it, didn't he? Or did he fire half of it? He blew off one half of it anyway.
But that's why he split down the middle in the first place, like because the hot side and the cold side can't stay connected because that's what the core allowed him to do.
Because he tears himself in half, then Pop blows up.
And Pop used that opportunity to blow up half of him. Yeah. Okay. And he's just there, half a dude. And he's like, "Hey, get in my super ultimate armor. Then you'll be my servant. But it's like my best cool armor." And he's like, "Wait, but
Mr. Furnace just appeared, by the way. He's just like, "Hey, buddy. We fucked up, didn't you? Well, we give you one last chance. Hop into this armor, which is kind of a pretty neat transforming robot sequence that all pops up. Yeah. So you turn back into pure dark fire energy in this and enter the dead, and you're able to fight, die again, finish him off. You can do it.
And he kind of has to do a very similar thing to Crocodile of kind of give up his pride, but also is like, yeah, but if I do this, I do get to continue on rather than just die here on the floor. So
and also, as soon as he did it, he's instantly plotting on killing Mr. Vern as well.
Yeah. He's like, with this armor, I could even kill him. Fuck that guy.
He's punched Crocodile, he's punched Shunkel, and busted Shunkel's armor up again. That stuff does grow back, if I recall correctly.
It's magic armor, so yeah.
Didn't factor in on Dai though, because Dai's still there. He's got to, he's conquered. He has all four techniques. He has all three of the main moves. So which means he's trying to do the advanced fast before, but he didn't have all of the learning beforehand to back it up. But now when he does it, it's probably gonna be something pretty cool, right?
Yeah, it is.
It is pretty cool. And I was like, oh, I wonder how much this bit was a influence on Zorro in One Piece.
Yeah,
I wonder how much of this was Gohan fighting Cell, really coming into your own as a hero. Because also Dai is just doing. He's got blood caking his eyelids shut. He's just doing just dodging. Or he's sensing his energies. Just one ever so kind of weaving in and out.
I was thinking the Zoro thing. I was also thinking the current bit where Luffy, or recent to current, it's probably fucking months or years ago at this stage, where Luffy's trying to learn what's the thing where you punch someone from the inside?
Yes.
It's it's very much so. You must combine these techniques.
But I was thinking specifically it's the Mr. One Zorro fight was what I was thinking of.
Yeah. To cut steel. Yeah. I could see that.
Because it's there's a bit he was missing till that moment of hearing the sound. But yes, they defeated him, and Mr. Vern steps on the final remaining bit of him and then buggers off.
Just his eye on fire. Yeah. Let me just put that fire out. I don't want to start no forest fires.
They go up the tower, but they don't have the power to get Leona out the ice in time because Flazard was the one who was going to melt it for them.
It is basically the idea is she'll be dead by sunset the next day, and the idea was she's been in ice this long, that will kill her. It wasn't him going haha, I'll shoot her. It's no, she'll just die. So his ice is still up, and they're like, well, we could try melting it. We don't have enough firepower. Pop's kind of on the outs. It's Crocodile's I could just fucking smash it. And it's yeah, but she's in there. That's probably a bad idea.
So
what if we put a fire spell and another fire spell into the same bullet? It's that might blow up the magic.
Blow up your gun.
You're not supposed to put two loads into the same bullet. That's and she's but the gun is meant for helping people. So if this helps her, we gotta do it.
So that's keeps it got the master, but you gotta do it. This is what he would do as well. So Dai can also just put fun fire spells and things now because he's really cast of acted as a hero, and also he has he's manifesting the crest, but it's not out of anger. It's out of wanting to save another person's life.
It's out of love. Just say it.
So yes, he blows the gun up. They get her out, and then we have a party.
Hey, Crocodile, you're invited too. Yeah. Why are you drinking outside here alone?
Yoko really tries to take the fucking mood down.
He does, yes.
It's hey, I just got to interrupt everyone's revelry to say, I kill a lot of people here, a lot, probably your dad as well, a lot of people. And she's just all right, as punishment, be a good guy. Okay, off you go.
Now back to the party.
And he's just like, oh, I was going to do that anyway, so that works out pretty good. Yeah. Crocodine's off drinking on his own, but the lads are like, come on, Crocodine. Have a few brews with us. It like proceeds to down a whole fucking barrel. He's like, this is good shit.
All right.
Who know that drinking with friends was good as a monster? I didn't. I'm a giant monster.
Or they gotta leave the party early because we must like travel ahead to the next country. It's under attack. We must scope out. I should do. We gotta go to this fun Sovereign Rock Castle, the bad guy's stronghold, and see what's going on with them.
Because the army's faced a major upset, so there's going to be some reshuffling, I imagine.
Certainly, indeed.
Looks like a new recruit next episode. So yeah.
Yes. And what's his face? The Dragon Legion General, Dragon Legion Commander. He's fucking destroying this other country. Burn it to the ground.
Hey, wait, what? Wasn't this country really strong and you take it over in 5 days? Yeah, I got a shitload of dragons. How's the war going with Die? Oh, we have to run away from that. It's like, fucking...
That kid does out of curiosity. He's talking about this crest he manifests, he's kicking all your arses. It happened to look like a dragon, the horns and things like that. Well, not like a where it looks a little bit like a dragon, actually. Motherfucker. Adler, why didn't you tell me about this? I see what you're up to now. I'm coming back there.
So a lot of upsets and a lot of good things, but still thoroughly enjoyable. Even though it was kind of like, fucking Flazard is totally dead, but he got to go out swinging some more.
It still looks like pathos to him. He just wants to cling to life. So
they all felt a bit bad for him. It's just like, geez, I mean, like I know he was an asshole, but that kind of sucks. Getting stepped on by your another general, I guess. Yeah,
boss's secretary.
Sure.
It looks like their castle's a giant robot.
Yeah,
that's nice. It does have a head, so I guess that makes sense. Yeah,
it does. Then we got the final episode of Healing Good Precure, episode 45. Welcome, the Healing Garden.
Well, final until they get a movie, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Because they all go to the Healing Animal Garden and have a lovely picnic. Yay! They've even brought some buns. But oh no, there actually is some time for serious pointing in things here. Because while the day is won, there's still parts of the Healing Garden that were destroyed even a year ago. And saying these places are still recovering. This will be a long wars out before they're fully restored once again. It's like so it's sad. Always in their thoughts and prayers. Certainly. This monkey dude comes off and saying, "Yeah. Fucking humans, you're no better than the Biogens, than the germ devils, because you're the exact same. You're just polluting, taking all this shit, wrecking the environment, and you don't care. It's making your life easier. So what are you gonna do about it? You're no better than them. In my opinion, we should fucking purify and do sparkle laser blast on humans as well. Get rid of a lot of them. It's like, monkey man, shush." Keep your extremist views to yourself, please. But he's proven right because the girls didn't disinfect properly. They didn't go to proper checks at customs. And the love and the sweet buns they brought, there was some residual germs in there, and they brought the infection right to the Healing Garden. It's like, lads, come on. What have you learned in the last year about washing our hands?
Wash it for 30 seconds. Come on.
So the cow take out these giant washes, and so it's like, yeah, humans fucked up shit a lot, but I'm only 12 years old, I'm not necessarily a big driver of that. I'm as horrified as you are about it. But I understand as well, it's up to us to try and struggle and fight and try and do our best to try and create a world where this won't happen. There's still time, maybe. But we gotta do our best. Interrupted then as well by Cure Summer, who appears through a warpole. Like, whoa, what's going on here? It's like, are you a Precure too? Yeah, I'm a Precure as well. I'm Cure Summer. Oh man, you got giant monsters here as well. That's way messed up. Anyways, this is all your deal. You take care of it. I'll get out of your way and help the animals. And then they finish off in due course. It's like, oh man, your Precures are pretty good. I look forward to it. Oh, I'm being pulled back to the warpole. I'll see you all in the movies.
Okay, that's a fun guest star.
Yeah, I see her costume similar to the new Sentai person is white with multicoloured.
Are they just copying each other's fucking notes, like just sliding it across the desk? It's like quick before teacher sees.
Rainbows.
Yeah.
Yeah. I appreciate it as I trying to say, like the battle is won, but the war continues. The war against infection, the war against whatever things are going to fuck up the planet we live on continues, and it's not all sunshine and rainbows all the time. There are still things that aren't quite fixed yet and may never be fixed. But it's understanding that humans got us into this mess, and humans gotta get us out of this mess. It's just trying to understand action as a whole, do that. And I give it this, its production was waylaid by fucking unprecedented global events. Well, I suppose we're unprecedented in some manner, whatever about that.
Yeah.
But they were doing their best to try and hammer home a few cogent points here. I don't know at the end. And again, what I keep coming back to, appreciating that you shouldn't have to put up with some of this bullshit. And a character member telling you that, this dude is telling you that, like, you're no better. It's just, you're being selfish by not letting me be selfish by saying, no, you can't. Someone's trying to lay some bullshit on you. Lay some trip about, you should be accommodating my selfish demands because that's what a true friend would do. And say, no, you don't have to put up with that. They're not being a good person by saying that, and should tell them to hit the high road. So it is trying to come down pretty firmly on all these things, which is not the thing you expect from nothing I see very often in a lot of anime I watch. Least of all, the Magical Girl cartoon. But I have high hopes now for Tropical Rouge Precure. I think now they have maybe a little bit more time to recalibrate things. They know what kind of work they got going to be with for the next time being. Trailers and initial stuff looks pretty promising, and Kira-sama a fun character as well. So it could be just like just rolling in. This is just as the weather's getting warmer. The days are getting longer. It could be a nice little thing to come off hibernation into this year, and what might hold for all of us. Good cartoons and die kicks, so I hope.
I'm looking at what the person who's writing it's written, and I'm not sure I've liked much. Oh, they did a bunch of Animal Yokocho. I like that. Most of it is maybe it's just adaptations of things. It's the free scriptwriter who is the head writer on it. And
is it in Tropical Rouge Precure or
in Tropical Rouge? Yeah.
Right.
And it is the director of Kira. No, just movies, I think. Oh, series director of the File of Young Kindayachi Returns.
Okay.
The 90s detective show that set the world on fire, but did kind of okay. I think he got a couple of seasons of that.
Yeah.
I think it was in the My Hero Academia slot next to Detective Conan. So for a while you're getting double duty of 90s detectives, though I guess Conan's also a outs detective and also a tens detective. He's just there forever with his little smug face. Talking to people with little smug faces, Kemono Jihen, episode 7. What was this one called?
Home.
I struggled to watch this. Tried to watch it on the Funimation app, and it played the previous week's episode with no subtitles instead. I did eventually get to watch it.
I struggled to watch it from having to look at it with my eyes. Not as an insult, but because just fucking horrific. Jeez, yeah.
Yeah, so they're going to meet Shiki's family. They're going to meet up with his uncle, who used to raise him.
Yeah, because he had information. It's like, hey, I found out information about your family like a year ago, and he's like, I don't want to know about family, but now he's like, maybe I fucking do. Fuck it. So it's like year-old information. It's like, yeah, talking back to your uncle, I did some more investigating on the doings and stuff that was going on. Yeah.
Oh yes, there's definitely be some doings going on.
Portraits Awards. Okay.
Doing the transpiring.
Mm.
Yeah. So this is the first episode where the human's the baddie, isn't it?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because they get there, they read like a local folk tale in a gift shop.
I feel like I've heard that one before, but that was very convenient for the plot. Yes.
But yeah, but they make the point of like, oh, yeah, these sort of folk tales are in all sorts of villages. It's
Yeah,
a very
yeah.
common recurring folk tale.
Guy shares his food with a spider. Spider leaves behind a bunch of golden silk, and the guy makes his fortune from it. Happily ever after.
I'm sure
Great
it
stuff.
comes under one of those folklore categorization categories of
Yeah. It'd probably be
helping
the same
animal,
thing of,
it leaves a gift. That's
or the other one, like literally, like do the right thing and get gold. What was the dude who he lost something in a lake and is like, is this silver one yours? Is this gold one yours?
Yeah,
And
the one which is in Picataros.
oh, it is in Picataro, of course it is. Yeah.
The woodcutter and the.
That's it. Yeah.
Is this your axe? Would you like to pick one from these selection of axes?
Yeah. It's definitely in that get rewarded for doing the right thing, literally with gold in this case, but figuratively with gold in the case of the story that we're talking about. Yeah.
And then it goes to the baths, and then Nobimaru sticks his nose in.
Sticks his dick in basically, because they're all like, it's like, dude, we're all being like really sensible. And he's just like, hey, I'm just going to be like censored by stuff in the foreground this entire time. Which is very odd. Like I feel like there's something weird up with that kid. There's like no light.
Oh yeah, I know what's weird up with him because I somebody on a Twitter thread I spotted and I was like, okay, that's what's up with that kid.
Is it something like he's one of the tails or something?
No, it's nothing so weird.
Oh, because well, that was like the nine-tailed fox could like split into like loads of different foxes or something. So like
I
an
don't
aspect
think so,
of her.
but
Okay, fair enough. No,
no.
I thought that might be the case.
No, it's a more basic thing. But yes, clearly Kabane is not having any of this guy's like I'm so weak and powerless act that he's doing.
Yeah, because he's giving out to him basically like, hey guys, fucking, you should have let me know, like send me a message or an email or something that you were heading out of town. Took me ages to catch up to you. It's like, we're having a bath now. Cool. You guys want to head out for food later? He's just been really chum with him.
Yeah, but he's always like, I'm here because I'm following you around the cabana.
No, like he says, like I'm following you because that's part of my job, but I'm not gonna fuck you over or anything. No. Yeah, sure, bud.
And that's the thing. I don't know. It's
like it's not clear. He's too slimy to appear like he's not doing it, but he is telling you everything he's doing. So,
but yeah, he also has made it clear that he should not be trusting any of the Kitsune, and then again he makes it here that Kitsune can't trust humans.
Yeah. Based off of this story, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, so Shiki he sees a tree and he remembers something. He remembers what traumatized him, and that was discovering his uncle's secret rape hut.
Yeah. Because the story that they have with the uncle is your dad died in an accident in the woods, and you got sick, so I had to take care of you, and your mom died in the meantime because she also got sick. And it's like, no, not really. I mean, like the kid did get sick, I guess, but more so from trauma than anything else, I would think. Also getting hit in the back of the head with a rock by his uncle.
Yes.
That would also make you feel sick. And his dad did die in an accident, if you call his uncle pushing him off a cliff an accident. Yeah.
Well, that silhouette is like, it could be read both ways. It could be read, I pushed him off the cliff, or it could be read, I'm trying to grab him as he's falling off the cliff.
I think that's probably what he convinced himself he did,
yes.
But based off of how fucked up this bastard is, I'm going to guess pushed him off a cliff.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of people convincing themselves of things in this as well.
Yeah, so...
The mum, him... Shiki, they've all convinced themselves that they either didn't see something or the thing they're doing is going to help somebody else in the long run.
Like Shiki kind of seeing that little girl that looks very similar to him, like hanging around, and I was like, that's going to be something bad. It's like no one's talking about that yet. Our raccoon guy taking him out and is like, yeah, tell me the deal with the spider silk, the gold silk, the shit you were trying to get. So what the story is. One stage Shiki got sick and they had to take him to like a human hospital because he's he's part human, but he's like, okay, in order to pay the bills and shit, I'm gonna try and make a kimono hybrid so I can get this cool golden spider silk, which this legend is based off. So I'm gonna put you in this barn in the woods, and this is gonna be your day job where you get raped by monsters.
Or he artificially inseminates you because they go in the hut and
Yeah.
Mario goes, "Oh look, an artificial insemination syringe," and I'm like, "How do you know this, child?"
Yeah, that was fucked up. But like the kind of like implied shot of it was like that monster is on that woman, that Spider Woman. This is horrible. I hate
they
this.
appear to be like she's giving birth to some really weird things before they've got around to this golden-haired child you see wandering the town.
Yeah. And he wanted to sell this golden silk because it can be used to recreate like human organs. And it would be a medical advancement, and it would make him a shitload of money and make him really famous. But he was held back by, I guess, fox magic is basically the explanation. She's been blocking him his medical advancements. Yes. Heavy inverted commas there.
And we learned that Inari was going to kill him around the time of when Inagaki asked Shiki whether he wanted to meet his parents. I
found out information on your parents.
Yes.
It's like, and since he couldn't, like, is this like, okay, I'm going to leave him fucking alive because I can actually tell him this information. Yeah.
And as he's getting this, he's got his phone on so that Shiki can hear all this. And then he's like, okay, you've heard all that, Shiki. What do you want to do now?
And Shiki, like, has webs around the dude's throat, is like hanging him in the woods. He's like, don't worry, uncle. I remember all the good times and when you, like, helped me and raised me and shit like that. So I'll make your death quick. Cut to the, next episode. We'll see what happens. I fucking guess. Yeah. That was fucking dark as shit, man. I was a bit like, fuck, I need to see something nice. And then the next thing I watched was also depressing. So that wasn't great for me.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think we've got another episode of this. And then I believe there's probably it's probably an episode with 2 short stories, which are going to be silly. Which is probably the way to handle it, or sillier.
Lighter, at least.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it gives us the background, and with Shiki, it was like, oh, they're getting through Shiki's story quite quickly, so I guess they'll probably do Akira's next after the break.
Yeah.
And I guess that will probably cover this first season, I would expect.
We got all the main characters' backstories locked in. Yeah.
Just we don't know. I guess there's probably one for Con down the line. From what I was reading, the Nobimaru kind of still remains a mystery to a degree. But the writing's top notch, and
it's well put together, but it was like nearly fucking too dark for me. I was just like, Jesus fuck, that's really fucked.
It is. I noticed there's this one character's got something in their character design that's like a little bit or maybe I'm thinking of an entirely different show I was watching. I was like, I'm sure there's somebody else who'd got like a bit of Kitaro colouring in them, but now I can't see it. So I think that was an entirely different show I was thinking of. We shall. I suspect this kid's here not because he's spying on Kabane. I suspect he's been sent to finally kill this guy.
Basically, it's like, oh, you're going there to kill that guy. Yeah, I'm just going to go make sure and confirm the kill. Get a double tap in, basically. Yeah.
Given his behaviour in the previous episode, he appears to be the cleaner.
And he's carrying that fucking suitcase everywhere, which is very cleaner. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because he's thinking about like explaining that he's very weak because he can't even hide his ears and tail.
Yeah, he has to wear the earphones to hide it and shit.
Yeah, and there's another bit where he's like getting a little annoyed at Kabane for not understanding human emotions again. It was the bit about whether it would upset him if Shiki found his parents before Kabane found his.
Like it's a contest or something.
It was like he's helping Shiki find his parents, but once Shiki's found his parents, then he might not be around to
help you find yours. Yeah. Like he'll have his, so you won't get yours. And it's
yes.
like, oh, I'd be happy for him. Like,
and then he's like,
or not happy for him, but
like, makes you really hard to take advantage of.
I can't manipulate you emotionally because you're like a fucking robot, kid. All right, just being very rude and pleasant about it in a weird way. Yeah,
it is. Yeah, so it makes you hard to see because he's like clearly didn't want to get him to go back to Con in the previous episode. But is that because that would interfere with his plans, or is it interfere, or it's going to endanger Kabane?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a curious character, and he's definitely. It makes Con a more interesting character having him there, and in I think he like adds to Inari. I think if it was just Inari and Con, they would not be that interesting. But with Nobumaru there as this small child who knows more than he's letting on, and is clearly more powerful than he's letting on. Because he's doing stuff that we've not seen Con do, like with the Foxfire in the previous episode.
Yeah, where he's just like boop 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 and just lets those mosquito ladies burn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think this is probably the most surprisingly good show for me of the season. I knew it looked good, but I wasn't necessarily sure what the story was going to be, and it's hitting the spot. Even though this is a pretty bleak episode.
Yeah. That like literally my only problem with it is it's very effective at getting across utter fucking horror, basically.
Yeah.
But
I think it's made worse because the kids in it are almost like they're almost into
like a regular shonen thing, nearly.
But they're almost like into like 80s greetings card design type cuteness of their characters.
Yeah. Okay, I can see that.
So it's like weird sending these sort of cherubs, even though I think they're all supposed to be around 13, off into such horrific situations.
Like for 13-year-olds, like in an anime, they generally look, it's like you can have a muscly kid or anything. All these kids look like little kids. They often act like little kids. For
every community high school they want to have, the diametric opposite.
Sure, where a 30 or 40-year-old is playing a teenager. Yeah. You get the opposite, but like, this, having a kid see, like, that's a fucked up situation to talk about in any media. But like have a kid react to that, and like, dude, that's really fucked.
Yeah, and then gets hit over the head with a rock
for his fucking troubles.
And gaslit by the culprit.
Like basically, the reason he left was like, hey, is mom coming home? Is she better in the hospital? He's like, no, not today. And it's just like eventually he gave up asking and it was like, I'm just gonna fucking leave. Clearly you're bullshitting me. Like he knew the man was lying to him, but he couldn't like do anything with that information.
It's a little bit trauma as well. It's a little bit acknowledging, like, Detective Conan. He's a slightly older child in a child's body, but it's still seems a lot of fucking grisly crime scenes. Seems a lot of really heinous tableaus of what humanity is capable of.
Yeah.
It's more those 3-5-year-olds he hangs around with them. So.
I'm more worried about their development for sure. Yeah,
it feels like the author of Kemono Jihen is more like, that never quite sat properly. But I think we're going a little more like this. Really, it's not a really fun time.
No.
It was all so flippantly, and they getting such crazy antics when they're trying to solve someone getting their head cut off on a roller coaster in front of them. But I kind of admire that.
In terms of look, this show is staying good, and in terms of like pacing as well, they're not really drawing out this. I assume it'll be resolved probably in like the first half of the second episode or the next episode.
I think it's like 2 more chapters. I think they're generally doing 2 chapters per episode, so I think the thing will be the rest of the story will be the next episode, I think.
I see. Okay.
And we know already that when it's just a single chapter story, they just bang 2 of those stories in there.
But it's keeping that pace really nicely. It's definitely not dragging, so that's good to see.
It is. That's it. That's your lot.
Plenty. You got extra this week.
Yeah.
Yep.
Extra again next week because we do the other remaining Kishibe and carry on with. I don't know what VLADLOVE's release schedule is. I don't know whether we're just dropping another 6 on on Sunday.
Guys, you're supposed to do one a week. What are you doing? What are you doing to us?
We're doing a Netflix model. Like, we're not. I'm sure on Netflix. It's the Crunchyroll model, week to week.
Well, I feel like this is just Maruoshi does what he wants now.
Pretty
much. This weird deal with this weird company who are funding anime, but not sponsoring it, just funding it. But it's good. I mean, it suits me. I mean, obviously, I'm exactly the right age for VLADLOVE.
Yeah.
I'm just impressed. Finally, they're doing those puppet designs over and over again, as opposed to.
I thought that was going to be a one-off fucking joke, but then they did it multiple times, and I was like, oh, that looks great.
And there's the thing where she reacts and turns into a doll and falls apart.
like not only wooden puppets with the sliding fucking nutcracker jaw, but like Muppets, just straight up fucking like sock puppet looking motherfuckers. Yeah, good stuff.
Chihiro's just in the background, the smoke away, going like one.
Yeah, like Kermit might smoke, exactly.
Are we back Tuesday?
Tuesday the 2nd, because at least for the first couple of weeks, but it marks again in a month where it's laid out nice and neatly.
How? Fucking this is working out great.
It is a sign of the apocalypse, Dwayne. Your days are numbered. just so you know precisely how little time you have left.
Yeah, these first 2 months seem to have gone pretty quickly, but I think that's just because a big chunk of it I was ill. Righty-ho, we'll be back next week then.
It was like last year.
On the Tuesday with more of the same. We'll see you then. So goodbye.
Bonne nuit.
In the stream.
Gonna stop.